lecture 3 of second chapter from class 7, and in this lecture we will discuss about the administration in the kingdoms, prasastis and land grants. All the rulers during these 500 years adopted high ranking titles such as Maharaja Dhiraj, Great King, Overlord of Kings, Tribhuvanas, Chakravartis, King of Three Worlds. In running the administration, they, however, took the help of their Samans and Brahmins and even the common caste and peasants. The king was regarded as the owner of all lands. Taxes were also collected from traders, industrialists, and all other professionals. The money thus collected was necessary for running the administration, for fighting wars as well as for constructing temple, etc. Sometimes land grants were also given to the learned Brahmins, especially those who wrote prasastis in praise of kings and helped them in the running their administration. Society, economy and religion. Society. The caste system was famous that time, and the caste system was also followed. The caste system continued to be the backbone of the Rajputs. Out of the four original castes, many new subcastes spread up. The caste was divided into the society was divided into four castes: Brahmins, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudras. The caste system had become rigid, and the idea of the untouchability had gained ground. The Brahmins have great position in the society, and the Brahmins commanded great respect in the society also. Next, the Kshatriya provided the rulers and soldiers. Only they took part in the warfare, and they held high position and status in the society. And third caste was Vaisya, who were related from the trade, and fourth caste was untouchables, Sudras, and whom carry out, whom clean the society. Their work were the clean the society. Women's condition in the Rajput, in the Kshatriya, women occupied a respectable position in the Rajput society. She could choose her husband by the Swayamvar. She was given higher education. There was no Parda system in Rajput society. So we can say that the women position in Rajput society was respectable, and they have given all rights. Next point, economy. Agriculture was the main occupation of the people, and trade and commerce flourished well. On the whole, India was wealthy and prosperous country. The people had developed good knowledge of various means of irrigation, including the Persian wheel. And in the field of industry, good progress had been made. Some of the varieties of woolen, silk and cotton textile were also made. Metal working was also common. Trade was also flourished. There was a continuous flow of trade between Southeast Asia and West Asia. Indian export consisted of wood products, sandalwood, nutmeg, camphor, coconut, vegetable, clove and many spices. Indians also exports precious and semi-precious stones, pearls. Next, religion. The Rajput were followers of Hinduism. So that time Hinduism was very famous. So this religion made great progress under the Rajputs. Both the Saiv and Vaishnava sects were quite popular in northern India. The people worshipped Lord Vishnu, Shiva, Durga and many other gods and goddesses of the Hindus. So we can say that time Hinduism was very popular religion in the society. Spread of Bhakti movements to the north. The Bhakti movements led by the Narayans and Alvars saints in the south now spread to the north. The Bhakti saints disagreed caste system, inequality, and laid emphasis on Vedas. The Bhakti sense that all people are the children of God, and they doesn't believe in caste system and inequality. They give in equal respect to all uh, people of every caste. Buddhism also witnessed revival, and the worship of Buddha become more elaborated. Devotional songs, rites, and other ceremonies become a part of Buddha worship. Jainism also gained popularity among trading classes in the northwestern India. So we can say that in the Bhakti movement, Buddhism, Jainism, and other religion was also followed by the people, and the Bhakti sense given the message that the every person is equal in the society. Okay, this chapter has completed.